December 28th will mark the 25th anniversary of Starrcade 97, the culmination of a year-long build where Sting would finally step back in the ring to face Hollywood Hulk Hogan for the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. The stage was set for a main event to become immortalized in wrestling history, and it did, but for all the wrong reasons. And for the first time in over 20 years on that 25th anniversary, Eric Bischoff and Nick Patrick will reunite to watch back and discuss what really happened that night at the MCI Center in Washington, D.C. Hosted by Conrad Thompson, a topic that led to one of the most heated exchanges in the history of 83 weeks.
And now you're going to act like it's ludicrous that we might think that that's what happened here when you managed to fuck up the single biggest moment in the history of wrestling, and now 20 years later you get on here and lie through your fucking teeth and say it's because he wasn't tan?
I'm not lying through much, Chief.
You finished over a tan? Is this real?
Ad-Free Shows presents a premium watch-along event, The Fast Count, with Eric Bischoff and Nick Patrick, December 28th, 10 p.m. Eastern, immediately following AEW Dynamite. All $29 level members and higher are invited to join, and Top Guy members will be able to ask Eric and Nick questions about this controversial night in wrestling. No spray tan necessary. Sign up today and reserve your spot at adfreeshows.com.
Cold as a razor blade, as tight as a tourniquet, like the skin on a dying man.
I don't want a piece of the world. I want the whole world.
I make my own rules because it's much easier that way.
Trust me.
What's up, everybody? It's Marcus DeAngelo, and you are in the Snake Pit with Jake Roberts. And Jake, of course, we couldn't do it without you, man. How are you?
I'm like a sore when you can't beat it.
Man, you know, we really need Blue Chew as a sponsor this week with that line. What do you think, man? It's week 3. Are you enjoying this experience?
Oh, man, I'm having a great time on the podcast. I think the fans are going to dig this thing more than anything else that's out there. It's coming straight from the hip. As we talked earlier, I don't want to hear the questions. I just want them to hit me right in the face.
That's it, man. Yeah, we're shooting from the hip this time. You didn't look at these questions beforehand.
No.
And we're just gonna let it ride. And let me tell you, Jake,
what it is.
That's it. And you know, I know that this one's a personal favorite of yours. It's a huge fan favorite, and we got a ton of questions.
Great. So
we might not get to all of them, but we'll do our best. And let's not waste any more time, Jake. We'll jump right into this thing.
Let's do it, bro.
All right. Instagram, a wrestling historian asks, you were the most popular choice to be the higher power for The Undertaker in 1999. Is that a story you would have liked to have been in? So, Jake, in case you're not familiar with this, I don't know if you are or not.
No, I wasn't.
So the higher power storyline, it was a pretty controversial storyline in 1999. It had a shit payoff, though, where The Undertaker, he had this cult-like Ministry of Darkness. And he was tormenting the McMahon family, abducted Stephanie. Vince got Austin on his side, only to reveal that it was him all along who was this higher power that Undertaker was taking orders from. But all the fans back in 1999 were like, it's Jake Roberts. We know it's Jake Roberts. And then when it wasn't you, everybody was so pissed off.
Well, if it hadn't been me, it would have worked.
The cult leader type figure with this Ministry of Darkness, definitely. Man, just tailor-made for you and your snake.
Well, it either had to be me or Kevin Sullivan.
Oh my gosh! I think the only problem with Kevin Sullivan is he's like 5'7". Everybody would have seen him in this cloak. Here, right, I'll pull up the picture. There's Vince in this cloak. Everybody would have seen him and been like, I think I might know who that is.
Yeah.
Did you ever get contacted by WWE or WCW in the 90s?
No, I sure did, brother. I was. It's on me because I was in a dark place and certainly not in any type of shape to be out doing anything, So that's on me.
Well, it's fun to think about what could have been, but man, you were fighting your own battles in those days.
Yeah, it gives people something to ponder and toss around in the old thinking mill. But I don't like to think about it because it just reminds me it's another opportunity I screwed up.
Right.
And I've got plenty of those. I've got plenty of those, but those days are over, man. I've got greener pastures now, and everything is so friggin' wonderful. This last weekend we did the Diamond Dallas Page Christmas party, which for you fans out there, if you ever wonder where all the Christmas toys have gone, they're at Dallas's house. He's probably got 200 Santas. He's got trains going through the house. He's got whatever you can think of. He's got like a herd of deer in his lawn out in his front yard. He doesn't have one or two. He's got a herd coming through there, man. But he's got everything. He's got every damn gimmick there ever was about Christmas. He's a Christmas freak, without a doubt. Probably the biggest freak I've ever known. He's got like 9 Christmas trees in his house.
Holy smokes.
Not 1, 9. Every room has one, man. And I mean, I can't imagine the time invested in putting all that stuff up and taking it all down.
Oh.
Of course, now Dallas doesn't do it himself.
There's the key.
Because he's got other people to do that. He's got his Christmas people. There's probably a bunch of little elves or something running around his house. He's probably got those kidnapped down in the basement. But it was a wonderful party. Over 200 people there at his house. That's why he's got a big house. But they were all there, and myself and Cheryl and Brandy went. My oldest daughter, she went. We watched some of the festivities for a bit, and then we scooted. But it was a great time for most of the people there.
Man, that's a hell of a turnout, 200 people. And it's something that I think wrestling fans are really interested in, because we've heard stories over the years from WCW days, how Dallas would throw these epic Christmas parties every year. And some pretty crazy shit happened at them from time to time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there was a little bit of crazy at this one, but that's not for me to divulge.
That's all right. We'll kayfabe that situation just to be on the safe side. Well, so you had mentioned that he's a big Christmas freak, and the next person that we're bringing up here, it might actually beat Dallas as far as being into Christmas. Adam Arpin asks, leading up to the Spin the Wheel Make the Deal match were a series of interviews with you conducted by Mick Foley. And in retrospect, with the great chemistry you both had, do you wish you and Mick had worked together in some kind of heel stable? And hypothetically speaking, who else would you have wanted to see beside the two of you in it?
Well, definitely would have liked to have worked with Mick. I think our styles would have matched up pretty damn good. And I don't think anybody would have gotten in the way. I'd like to see Terry Funk in there as a threesome.
Could you imagine?
Maybe make him the godfather of style or something. I don't know. But Terry Funk would have been great to be in there.
My God.
Maybe even Berserker.
John Nord.
He would have been good to be in there.
Absolutely. He would fit.
He damn sure would, man.
I mean, you mentioned Kevin Sullivan earlier. He feels like a layup for that situation too.
Oh, no. Kevin likes to talk and he don't like to throw it.
Oh, okay.
Or he doesn't mind dishing it out, but he doesn't want to take it.
Oh, I see. Well, that makes sense. Well, you know what?
I think Mick and I both enjoyed having it done to us. That's kind of the strange part about some wrestlers is we like to be hit. It kind of fires you up, makes you want to do stuff.
Makes you feel alive.
Yeah, it does.
Well, I'm sure that working with this next guy made you feel alive at times. Drew Landry asks, you once said you drove Andre around in a van at times and got somewhat to know him. What is your favorite Andre story?
Well, it's probably that first time, I mean, I was told to pick him up in a van and drive him back to Baton Rouge, Louisiana from Alexandria, Louisiana, which is only 110 miles. And we left the arena, and Andre, he was into this one word thing, beer, Oh, you'd like for me to stop and get some beer, I get that. So I stopped him and I said, how much you want? And he said, case. I'm like, what? He goes, no, 2 case.
Oh my God.
I said, dude, it's only 110 miles. I thought maybe he thought it's 300 miles or something, because those Louisiana trips were like that.
Right.
He's like, no, 2 cases. So I went and got 2 cases for him and a 6-pack for me. So we start driving. Of course, I got to pull over and relieve myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that like 3 times. I drink 1, I piss 3. I don't know what the hell it is about me. I don't buy beer, I rent it. It doesn't stay in me long. But what confused me on that whole trip was he finished his beer.
2 cases.
He drank 48 and 110 miles. And of course, I had to clean up the mess. The cans were everywhere. And I'm cleaning up the mess, and I'm like being really careful not to touch the carpet because I just know for a fact he's pissed on the carpet.
Oh, no. He didn't want to get out and pee.
Right. That's what I figured, right? But then, I touch here, I touch there. And now instead of being worried about it, I'm trying to find out where he pissed. So I'm patting down the whole damn van, and I never found a place where he pissed. So, what impressed me is that he could drink 2 cases of beer and not have to piss. I mean, how big's his bladder?
Good Lord.
It's got to be as big as a basketball or something, or even bigger. But that kind of blew my mind, man.
Wow. So 48 beers at about 100 miles. So it's like a beer every 2 minutes or something.
Oh, well, you put a beer in his hand and you couldn't see the can.
So like for us, like those little cocktail cranberry.
Like yeah, exactly.
Oh my God.
Look, a Red Bull in my hand,
Robert Vornberg asks, Jake, huge fan of yours since I was a kid. My question is, how do you feel about the Raven character? He obviously had he had drawn some inspiration from you, especially in his promos.
That the greatest form of flattery is when somebody imitates you,
Yep.
And I definitely seen where he'd stole from me. Some people call it stealing. I call it being smart. There's not anything new left to do. It's all been done before. So if you're going to do something, steal from somebody that was pretty damn good at it. And he did. So I had no problem with it at all. It's like the even flow DDT. I thought for years, man, that was a baby bottle, because baby bottles are even flow. But come to find out it has some musical thing to do behind it.
Yep. God, I can't remember. I think it's a Pearl Jam song.
Yeah, I can't remember, man.
So interestingly too, and this isn't a question, this is just me remembering. I remember it was 98, and it was spring break in WCW. He got on the mic and he started talking about you. It was this feud with DDP, and he said the Snake is watching, and I know he approves what I'm doing. Was he contacting you about trying to get you into WCW at the time?
No, absolutely not.
So he's just having
nobody contacted me about doing much of all. I didn't do it.
He's just having a little fun out there on his own, huh?
Yeah, he's being smart. When he threw that out there, what does that do? That makes everybody that's listening think, oh, something's going on. Jake Roberts is going to be around here somewhere. And it makes people think. That's what you want to do on an interview. You want to make people think.
And he was a hell of a promo, like yourself. Very, very cerebral. And to your point, this whole idea of saying the Snake is watching, it kind of makes it sound like, well, Jake the Snake supports this guy too.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Especially destroying DDP.
No doubt. Eric H. asks, what inspired Jake's signature handlebar mustache? You've had it for years, Jake.
My nose.
Your nose?
My nose.
What about your nose?
Well, without a mustache, I look like Ric Flair.
I hear him get called Beak by a few people.
Yeah, Big Bird.
I saw a picture of you once and I want to say you were in Florida or something, and you had a full beard, and I was like, that's a unique look. What made you decide against going with that?
That was just a wild hair up my ass at the time. I was young, trying to figure out what kind of facial hair I wanted, what kind of look I wanted. So I tried a couple of different things, and the mustache works, but the rest of it didn't.
I would say it panned out. You get compared to another famous mustachioed guy, Sam Elliott, quite a bit. Not only
I do.
Voice.
I actually had a very large magazine contact me one time and want to interview my mustache. And yeah. And I told him it would be better asking the girls that wrote it than to ask me, you know.
I'm sure they've got some stories.
Oh yeah. Well, I'll regret telling that one. Just kidding, Cheryl.
Just kidding. Chris White asks, Jake, we know you manage Lance Archer in AEW, but is there another talent out there that you would have wanted to manage? So we know that you love managing Lance, but if Lance just hadn't been in AEW, is there somebody else that you think you could have worked well with?
Oh, for sure. I mean, the Mexican guys, man. What's his name?
Are you thinking of the Lucha Bros?
Yeah. Lucha Brothers. Yeah.
That would have been cool.
Yeah, I think I'd have been great with them. There's other people too. I mean, Miro. I think I'd have been good with Miro.
Oh man, that would have been really cool. That's a unique pairing. I know that Eddie Kingston certainly doesn't need anybody to talk for him. He's a good talker in his own right, but I feel like you and he would you just make an interesting pair.
It would have been a very interesting pair for sure. Eddie works his ass off, and I appreciate that.
Unique character like yourself. If you're looking for an incredible holiday gift, you can look no further than our friends over at Jimmy's Famous Seafood. Jake, they're the best, and they're famous for a reason. They aren't just Baltimore's best, they're not just Maryland's best, but they are the best in the country when it comes to making crab cakes, soups, oysters, signature steaks, desserts, and gluten-free items. They've been in business for over 40 years and have been featured on diners, drive-ins, and dives. Promo code is SNAKE. Next up, we've got Scott Golden, and he asks, Jake, I work in addiction recovery and commend your journey. What do you think wrestling/entertainment, the wrestling/entertainment industry as a whole could do to help talent avoid addiction?
Just be upfront, man. That's what I've found out, that it's hard sometimes to take down the curtain and let people see what you really are. But sometimes it's not a bad thing. I know from my experience, since I took down the curtain and showed people the trouble that I've been through, that I've been able to help hundreds, if not thousands of people. And there's something special that happens when you help somebody that needs real help. And it's an incredible feeling. I didn't think there was anything to compare with the rush that you get in the ring from performing, but there is. If you help someone that's in dire need, man, it makes you feel pretty damn good about yourself. And I love doing it. I do it daily. Got several people right now underneath my wing that we're trying to get them there, and they're doing pretty good, But they're all not success stories either, and that's the hard part. When somebody falls and does not want to get back up, that pisses me off, and I have to really watch my temper there, because I feel like saying some bad stuff that wouldn't do anything but hurt people's feelings, and that's the last thing I want to do.
It's hard, man. You can't help somebody that doesn't want to help themselves.
No, man. Why do you want to lay in shit?
Right. Which is something that I think is really remarkable about you, because you had such a hard time for so many years, and then all of a sudden it's you just do a complete 180, which is nothing short of incredible. It's really hard to get yourself out of that funk.
It is, man. When you do something like I did for 30, 40 years, and then to drop it all and change completely, it's
remarkable.
It's mind-boggling. It really is. And,
honestly, like unheard of after that many years of habitual use. It's nuts.
But you can only take so much, and I couldn't take any more of anything. And I think that's probably what helped me get there, was the fact that I was beaten down to the point of not wanting to live anymore. I was begging to die. And when you get to that point, you're pretty much willing to try anything. And to get out from underneath some of that. And that's where I was at.
Man, just an incredible journey you've had. If you haven't seen the Resurrection of Jake the Snake documentary, I know it's been around for a while, but if you haven't seen it, you have to watch it. It's a remarkable film.
Show it to somebody that needs it.
Yes. I did want to kind of piggyback off of Scott's question there a little bit. I've heard, I think it was Kevin Nash say in the past that if Vince McMahon would have stopped testing for marijuana, then there wouldn't have been so many guys who were struggling with somas. Now, it
Oh
might not have been
yeah,
Kevin Nash. I don't want to bury him or put words in his mouth. So
right,
I know
right.
I heard it somewhere. Do you agree with that notion?
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, that certainly opened the door for me to do cocaine. Was whenever I couldn't do any more weed, you know, I just wanted some relief, you know, from everything that I was struggling with in my head. So with cocaine, you could do it, and within 72 hours, you're clean again. So you're still rolling the dice, you know, of losing your job, but you know that just goes to show you how powerful the drug is. I didn't give a fuck.
Right.
I went ahead and did it, and got busted for it a couple of times, you know. But yeah, definitely, I think marijuana is a great answer for a lot of things. You know, they're just now starting to just break the ice on the positive things that marijuana can do. I know I would much rather my children and my grandchildren to smoke weed than to drink alcohol.
Yep.
From my own experience, I never got in a fight once whenever I was smoking weed. But if I was drinking whiskey, by God Almighty, there's going to be a fight before the night's over. I guarantee it.
Well, and this story is kind of reminded me, and then we can get back into the questions. I want, were you around when that whole thing happened with Sheik and Jim Duggan, and they were caught by the
Yeah,
police?
yeah.
So what was your take? I mean, in
Oh
that moment, were you
man,
like, man, I got to clean my act up, or what were you thinking?
no, not me, bro. Not me. I was like fucking idiots. They got caught,
Oh.
you know. But the sad thing was, you know, a lot of that wouldn't have happened if she hadn't have been in that car. You know, because Duggan wasn't going to do the stuff that was being done in there,
Right.
not openly. You know, and if you've ever been in a situation around the Sheik, you know, real quick that as soon as you get pulled over, the Sheik's going to get out and do his whole spiel, which doesn't impress anybody. Pisses you off, you know. And he's telling those cops off, and he badgered them, man. He got all over them, you know.
Oh man. Thank God
And
that Jim's dad was a chief of police in New
oh my
York.
God, it was horrible, man. Jim had to, you know, I felt so bad for Jim because just a few weeks after that happened, his father was being honored
Oh,
for being a police chief for so many years. They had a big banquet for him. There were two or three governors there to honor him for the work that he had done over the years. And of course, here's the black eye sitting up here beside him, you know, his
God.
son who just got busted, you know. And
His famous son who's been in these
yeah,
headlines. Oh, just
yeah, it was
brutal.
real tough on Jim. And I went to bat for Jim because I'd never known Jim to drink beer. You know, he was a vodka guy. And when Vince called me and told me, he said, well, you're a buddy, you know, I don't know how I get that. All of a sudden, the guy that fucks up, he's my friend.
He's your friend.
You
Yeah.
know, my friend, you know, it doesn't matter. He's making you millions of dollars, Vince. Okay, I get it. But he's
Right.
my friend now. And it must be my fault somehow. Just got busted with the Iron Sheik. And I went to bat for Jim. And I said, wait a minute. You said he was drinking and driving? No, Jim Duggan wouldn't do that. No fucking way. Because I
No.
just knew that he did not drink beer, you know? And then, of course, several months later, I asked Jim, I said, can you believe that fucking McMahon tried to tell me you were actually drinking beer? I know better than that. He goes, no, I was. Oh fuck. I
My
just
God.
buried myself, man. Oops.
Well, if you've
Yeah, man, trying to stand up for my buddy, and I'm just breaking that stick off my own ass.
and well, it's understandable if anybody here's ever talked to Jim or met Jim, he's like, it's just not in his personality. You're right.
No, man. And Jim is a wonderful, wonderful guy, man. And he put himself in a bad situation, and you put yourself in a bad situation enough times, something bad's going to happen sooner or later. And it's not going to be anything that washes off either. And it took some time for Jim to get back to the WWF, and it cost him a lot of money. A lot of money.
Man, just unthinkable. And he's a young man at the time. And you know,
Yeah.
to put things in perspective for a lot of people, it's imagine you're in your 20s, all of a sudden you're famous, you've got a lot of people approaching you wanting to give you free things. There's a lot of women around you wanting to be with
Oh,
you. Like I know that if I had been in that position in my 20s, I would have been a complete piece of shit. And
yeah.
I think a lot of people would have been, you
It
know.
happens that way. You look at these NBA basketball players, they get these multi-million-dollar contracts. Watch them blow their money.
Mhm.
And it's something we're not ready for. Nobody at school teaches you that you're going to make $20 million in just 3 or 4 years. It just doesn't happen. They don't teach you how to get ready for that. And which I'm very grateful for everything I ever made. But man, I could have damn sure done without the vultures,
No question.
because the vultures come out of their woodwork, man. And you're now a prized piece of meat that's being displayed, ready to be scooped up and chewed up and spit out. And I got conned 2 or 3 times over large amounts of money that anybody in their own real mind wouldn't have done what I did and got involved in with those people. But I did because I trusted them. Oh man, you got to be careful who you trust, man. You really do, especially if you're talking about your bank account.
And you know, if you're under your 30s, you haven't really developed maturity yet, and all of a sudden, like,
No,
so of course you're gonna make mistakes, and
make
unfortunately,
mistakes, man. You can't wait to try the next mistake.
so it's good to put this kind of thing in context because I don't think a lot of people look at it from that lens.
No,
Um,
they don't, man.
so next question, we've got
Yeah.
Philip Lane, and he's asking if you never went into the wrestling business, what
Mhm.
occupation do you think you'd have been interested in?
A mass murderer.
A mass murderer? I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
would you have had a snake though?
Oh yeah, definitely,
You gotta
definitely. I'd have
you
been
gotta have a
putting them in
gimmick, man.
mailboxes. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Male snake would have been hot, man. If I'd never become a wrestler, I would have probably followed my other dream, which was become an architect. I really enjoy looking at old buildings and seeing how they were put together and how sturdy they are. I mean, when I went to Europe, man, and spent some time over there, I was going in buildings that were 1,500 years old, 2,000 years old. And our country isn't that old yet. We got a very new country here that we're living in.
Yep.
It's only 500 years old, 600 years old, whatever. And I'm eating in a restaurant over there and find out that the restaurant was opened in the year 700.
Oh my God.
And it's still open.
That is
I went
wild.
to the oldest pub in England. It was opened in the year six something. I can't remember the exact number, but 600 and something. And the ceilings were about 5'5" tall because people back then were a lot smaller.
Right.
So I'm in there like leaning down like this, trying to drink a beer on the side of my head.
You could be sitting out and your head would be touching the ceiling in there.
Pretty much.
Oh
But
my
I
God.
love the architecture, man. And, it's just amazing stuff that you see over there. I mean, for instance, the sewage system in London was built by the Romans and it still works.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, we can't get something to work over here for 48 hours, much less than 2,000 years.
Right. Yeah, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say they weren't using a lot of plastic and stuff back then.
True
Cheap
that.
materials.
Just with sex toys.
Yeah, well, yeah. Next up, we've actually got one from producer Dom. He wants to know how much of an impact do you think Scott Hall would have made as WWE champion?
Scott could have carried it. He would have carried it well. When Scott was on, brother, there's not many people out there that can hang with him. He was a huge man, and he could move and very colorful. But what if?
He had that
You
kind
know?
of intangible it factor about him.
Yeah.
People were drawn to him. He was just cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting to think of what he could have done with the run, as champion. Vince was looking to these bigger guys. He wound up going with Kevin Nash, which worked out great. Nash is a legend in his own right, but man, it's Razor Ramon had a lot of fan support.
Yeah, but Razor Ramon also had issues.
I think
You
that's
know?
probably what's at the core of it all, right?
Right there lays the problem, man. You can't put all your bacon in a bag that may have a tear in it, you know?
Yep. It's unfortunate, man. Scott, what a legend.
Yeah, absolutely. God miss him. I just
Um,
seen his boy. His boy was at Dallas's Christmas party.
Cody Hall. Yeah.
Cody was there. Big as shit. God damn, he's huge.
He's what, like 6'8"?
He's 6'7", 6'8". Yeah, he's a
Man.
big son of a bitch, man.
Independent wrestler in his own right. I
Yeah,
believe he picked it back up.
yeah.
And man, he's somebody
Wishing
to watch
nothing
out
but the
for.
best. Yeah,
Yeah.
wishing nothing but the best. Hope he gets it.
Great look, great athlete. I'd love to see him do something.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got Gavin. He asks, "You broke in as a referee."
Oh God,
Look at that picture.
I hate you guys.
Do you prefer refs that are demonstrative like Tommy Young, or the refs that you don't notice until it's time to count to 3?
Well, you want a ref that you don't notice till it's time, but you also want a ref that's in control. You know, I always preferred the ref that called it down the middle and called what he seen, and he'd chew a baby face's ass as quick as the heels. And I think it's so important for the heels to respect their authority. A lot of heels think they get heat by not listening to the refs. No, you don't. All you do is put heat on the referee.
Yep.
And that's something you don't want to do. So no, I definitely wanted a ref that would get in your face if you did something wrong, but not Tommy Young.
Not Tommy Young. What were your experiences like as a ref? Did you enjoy it? Were you just dying to become a wrestler instead?
No, I really loved it, man. It was a great place to learn. You get the opportunity to be in the ring without being a wrestler, where everything's on you. And by being a referee, you learn how to move in the ring. You learn how to be places in the ring where you need to be. And you learn how to take the people and work the people. And you can learn a lot by refereeing. I think it should be something everybody does.
What would you say, and I'm putting you on the spot, see if you remember, what would you say was the most high profile match that you were a referee in?
Oh God, I can't remember, bro.
No, I know it's many, many years ago.
Well, refereeing Bill Watts against Dick Murdoch.
Now that's a hell of a match.
Refereeing Bruiser Brody against my father.
Another hell of a match. Wow.
Refereeing Bruiser Brody and Stan Hansen against anybody was an experience.
Those two were.
It was an experience, my friend. Let's just say I was quick on my feet.
I've heard that Bruiser Brody was quite a personality behind the scenes.
Oh yeah.
You have any Bruiser Brody stories?
No, I don't, man. Well, I guess I do. Here's this guy that's so friggin' big, man. He has shit. His muscles have shit. He has shit in his muscles. I mean, muscles in his shit. That's what I meant to say. He has muscles. His turds have muscles. That's how many muscles he had. But we went to Mississippi back in the day, and they had that outbreak, sleeping sickness outbreak from the mosquitoes.
Mm.
And Brody was absolutely fucking terrified of these mosquitoes. He had like 10 cans of off in his car. And whenever it come time to go to the building, man, he's carrying them in the building. He's spraying as he goes in the building. He sprays the locker room down. And hell, man, a couple of times in the match, I'd go like I was killing the mosquito, and he fucking, oh shit. And he'd dive for the corner and grab a can of off and chase me around the ring with it,
A guy that big worrying about mosquitoes.
Damn mosquitoes.
That's a wild, wild thought. Sean Mentz asks, Jake, will you be doing any more dates on the Dirty Details tour for 2023?
Absolutely, man. We are fixing to blow it wide open, starting in February. I'll be giving you guys these dates as they get melted together. But yeah, we're going to go out with several weekly runs where I do 4 or 5 days in a row, and we're probably going to start in the Ohio area, and then we're going to go up to New York, Boston, back down south to Philadelphia, all through there, all of New York State. Yeah, we're going to be blowing it up, man.
Man, I
Back
never
on
had
the
the
road
pleasure.
again.
I never had the pleasure of going to it, but I'm going to it this year.
No, you're not. I'm keeping you banned.
Oh, come on. I was hoping for a free ticket.
You're not getting a free fucking ticket. Hell, I'm charging you triple.
Well, it was worth a shot.
Oh, yeah.
Yambag Jones asks, would you have ended the Undertaker streak?
No. What for?
No, I agree.
What for? I'm who I am, man. I've already got mine. I don't think his streak should have been ended. I really don't. I think that was a big mistake.
So that was not if you personally would end it, but if anybody would have ended it.
I wouldn't let anybody end it. Why? Really?
Here's the thing too, is it wound up being Brock Lesnar who put a stop to it. And it's like, Brock Lesnar is already pretty established. Like, if you're going to do it.
Yeah, he was. Use somebody that's new.
Right. Get somebody over big time. Get
somebody over, but still give it to a guy that's already over.
Right. That was my thought when I saw it.
Big mistake.
Melissa Cody asks, what's next for you in AEW? I think TK should entertain the idea of the Snake Pit live on Dynamite. That's a fun thought.
Oh, that would be fun, man. I'd get myself in all sorts of trouble there.
Picturing some of the promos you could have and guests.
Holy shit.
Ooh, boy.
I wouldn't be at the bottom of the barrel. I'd be under the barrel. No, whatever AEW wants out of me, I'm there, whether it's managing Lance or doing something in the behind the scenes with trying to help kids. I've been approached to do something where we visit hospitals and stuff, and I'm very, very, very excited to do it.
That's awesome.
It's near and dear to my heart. Hopefully we'll be able to hit some rehabs too, where we can talk to some people, see if we can't help them break the corner and break out the madness, man.
Well, that would be fantastic. And, honestly, any way that you can be involved, whether it's on TV or, as you said, behind the scenes, you're of value. That's for sure.
Thank you.
We've got Bleak Outlook next, which is a depressing name. Bleak Outlook asks, does Jake have any outdoor hobbies like hunting or fishing?
I love fishing, man. I love fishing. I would hunt if the animals had guns.
You want to give them a fighting chance. And you know what, Jake? If you want to continue to stay active and make an investment in your health, there's no better solution than AG1 by Athletic Greens.
That's right. I still do it
every morning, and it's been 10 weeks for me now. I started using AG1, it's over 2 months ago, and the difference that I've experienced when it comes to energy, health, overall wellness, it's just unbelievable. No more taking multivitamins, no more supplements every morning to get myself where I need to be, no more adding a million ingredients to put together a healthy shake, and no more spending 10 minutes thoroughly cleaning out the blender afterwards. AG1 makes it all completely easy. With one delicious scoop, I get 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to start my day off on the right foot. These ingredients support gut health, my nervous system, my immune system, recovery focus, and most importantly for me, it was always about energy. In just 10 weeks, I feel like a new man, and it's really become part of my daily routine, Jake. It's easy, it's convenient, and most importantly, it works. They've got more than 7,000 five-star reviews, and you'll understand why when you try it. And Jake, that's not even the best part of it all. It costs less than $3 per day, which is a pretty small price to pay when it comes to making an investment in your health, right?
Damn straight.
Man, it's time. Go reclaim your health, arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition, and let's make it easy, folks. Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Get started when you go to athleticgreens.com/DDP Snake. Yep, we're still using that one for the rest of the year. That's athleticgreens.com.
Gotta get on it, guys.
Yep, by the end of the year, we'll have a new one. But for right now, it's athleticgreens.com/DDP Snake to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. So can't say enough good things about Athletic Greens, man.
You really can't, man. They make it way too easy. I wish back in the day they would have had something like that instead of we're eating 50 and 60 liver pills, desiccated liver. That was a big thing for a while. My God, eating 50 or 60 liver pills, man. Give me a break.
I can't imagine it.
Oh, my God, man.
Nah, and look, it makes it easy. It makes you feel like $1 million. You cannot go wrong with Athletic Greens, guys.
I'm on it. Damn straight.
Let's jump back in.
I've noticed a big difference, man.
Yeah. It's not only, as you and I mentioned, you don't have to take all those damn pills every morning where you feel like you just had a full breakfast before you eat anything.
Yeah, they just lay in your gut and ferment.
Yeah, no thanks. athleticgreens.com/DDP Snake. Jake, Nick Lenz asks, let me start over, Jake.
Why don't you?
How did you feel about
Easy
the pop?
for you to say.
I know, I'm stumbling all over the Athletic Greens. It got me all worked up. Jake, how did you feel about the pop you got when you first appeared on AEW Dynamite in March 2020? Big reaction.
Incredible reaction. If you go back to that picture, you can see that all the fans are standing too.
Let's have a look there. Look at that.
That don't happen very often anymore.
No, it does not. And let me tell you,
when I walked out there and that rush hit me, oh my God. And then whenever I touched the ring apron, I could just feel it come right, right back through me, man. And I felt like, I was at home again. It had been so long. It had been 20 years since I'd been in the ring. And to go out there and have that type of ovation happen and to be doing it in the ring with Cody, it couldn't have been any better.
Man, it's such a talented performer. As you said, Cody, you're in there with him, and you delivered a hell of a promo, a great mic drop, not turning your back on somebody that you respect.
Or
feared. Man, it was something else.
Yeah, I nailed another one.
Excited to see you back on TBS or TNT, hopefully soon. Eric asks, any updates on your autobiography?
Man, I have to apologize to everybody, man. I've just been dragging my feet on finishing that book. I need to get on it and do it. But I just, I'll start to do it and then I'll sit there and think about it. I rethink, I double think, I triple think, and then I begin to stink. I wind up just putting it back down. No, I'm not ready yet. And I don't know if it's fear of failure or fear of not just wanting for it to be over, because I put so much into that book. I mean, it's 600 pages long right now.
Wow.
And I'm just going into the WWF,
wow.
So that kind of tells you how complex it is, how in depth I go to all the situations that we go through. But it's my life, man, and I'm going to do it my way. Dude, hopefully before Easter.
It's exciting. It's exciting to think about a book that's that long. We don't get very many of those. They normally hover around 300 pages, somewhere in there. Yeah. So to think that, yours could be upwards of 1,200. I mean, man, that sounds fantastic. You might have to break it into two. Well, I'm excited for it. Next up, we've got Eddie Prather, and he asks, who are some of your favorite opponents to work with?
I had so many favorite guys. One of my all-time favorites would have been Lynn Denton. The Grappler. He was called the Grappler, and he's the guy I invented the DDT with. We had some phenomenal matches. Barry Windham, a young Barry Windham. By the way, I want to reach out to Barry right now and hope you're feeling better, bro. I know you stumbled at the airport and had a little problem. Take care of that ticker, bro.
Frightening.
We don't need to lose you, man. One of the horsemen, we got to have you around. Love you, Barry. But
Barry's one of a kind, and he does have a
yeah,
GoFundMe going right now. And we will share that out on social media at Snake
yeah,
Pit Pod.
absolutely.
Donate to Barry, whatever amount you can helps. He's
Yeah.
got some big medical bills in front of him, and
Oh
man,
my God.
that's a guy who's given a lot to professional wrestling.
Yeah, he's given his whole life, and his whole family did. I mean, Christ, his dad did too. But I had some phenomenal matches with Barry back in the late 70s, early 80s in Florida Championship Wrestling, and just really enjoyed them. But Lynn Denton, Barry Windham, Ricky Steamboat, and the list goes on, man. I don't think I ever had a bad match other than one. And I don't even want to bring it up, so I'm not.
Well, I can vouch for that. I've seen you. I've seen a lot of your work over the years, and man, it's fun watching you. Very fluid in the ring, and yeah, you're one of those guys who could kind of work with just about anybody. Johnny Gringo is up next. He goes, "Who's one person from today that you would like to have had a feud with if you could?" So if you could go back to your wrestling prime, Jake, right now, who from today would you work with?
Oh my God. Oh, well, definitely the tag team. What is it?
FTR.
FTR. But I want them in singles matches.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to. I would like to have done something with Chris Jericho.
Man, that would have been
I
a
think
lot
we
of
could
fun.
have done some stuff. And the other Jake, Jake
Jake Hager.
Hager. I'd like to get with him. I think I could have helped him a lot in the ring. I mean, he's an animal, but if he'd just let me drive for a little while, I think I could show him some shortcuts.
It's fun to think about you as a manager for him too. I think that could be a
So,
hell of a combo.
man, what a tag team that would be, huh?
No doubt.
Woo.
Next up, we've got Jennifer Wadsworth, and she asks, "Any George the Animal Steel stories? I loved him as a kid." I feel like you got a good one.
Yeah, I got a good one. I seen that I was going to have to wrestle George, and you know how they do the great build up for a cage match. You know, two guys will wrestle each other, then two guys will get in a fight over this or that, and the angle is done where this guy does this to this guy, and he's got to come back and try this, but oh my God, the manager got involved. No, we're going to settle this once and for all. We're going to put them in a cage, and they'll fight each other to the finish. That's the way it normally goes. But George and I look up, and we're doing interviews for this shithole of a town. I called it Scrotum, Pennsylvania, but it's Scranton.
I know Scranton.
Yeah. And we're booked in Scranton in a cage match, but we'd never wrestled each other.
Who booked that shit?
Well, Don Boone wasn't me, brother. So I realized I'm going to be in the ring with George with no fucking place to go. Now, George Steele had one of the worst looking punches. He'd punch you right here in the neck. But they devastated you. Oh my God, did they hurt?
So he was bringing
Christ, man. He'd hit you and you wouldn't be able to lift your arm. It'd just go dead. It's like, God damn, that's after one. What am I going to do? So I knew I didn't want to get none of them. So I told George, I said, man, let's really fuck with the people. So he bought into that. And I told him, I said, I want you to slam me 10 times. What? Slam me 10 times. And he thought about it. And he goes, yeah, hell yeah, I'll do that. Well, what did I do? Each time he slammed me, I got heavier. I didn't help him as much. So the bottom line was he slammed me 7 times because he couldn't pick me up again.
So he was gassed.
He was gassed. So what was I able to do then? I was able to take him down on the mat and beat the shit out of him and do anything I wanted to.
Is he cursing you?
I backdoored his ass, man.
Is he just cursing you the whole time?
Yeah.
I can
You
imagine.
fucking got me, kids. You fucking got me. Oh yeah. But he still had enough left before the end of the match to throw a couple of those goddamn waffles into my neck. Oh god damn, they hurt, man. I miss old George, man. He was a good guy to be around, man. We made a few road trips together.
Man, I don't know what I was expecting whenever I asked for a George story, but that was a hell of a good one.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's fun, man.
Well, Dave Cates asks, did you ever work with Ricky Morton in a one-on-one match?
Not one-on-one. We had some tag matches. It was me and the Barbarian. This is John Nord before he became Berserker. And he was green as shit, man. And we had to wrestle the Rock and Roll Express quite a bit in Mid-South. And real quick, both of the rock and rollers came to me and said, Jake, please, please, please do not tag him in the ring. He's hurting us. I mean, he would do shit like he would slam him in the corner and then go to the opposite corner and try to do the Macho Man elbow.
Oh my God.
You know, all the way across the ring.
Could he make it?
Yes.
Wow.
But he landed on them. He crushed them, man. He was breaking ribs and shit.
Holy shit.
But they begged me, don't let him in the ring. So I told them, I said, all right, guys, I'll keep him out of the ring for the most part. But you guys better not do one of those bullshit high spots where you got me chasing both of you, because they were real bad about doing that. You know, they'd do the quick tag and you'd go to grab one, the other one would grab you from behind. You wouldn't know it. And they'd blow your ass up doing that shit.
Mm-hmm.
So we'd make it through 3/4 of the match before one of them would do that. But then I'd reach over and tag Nord, and I had to be real careful because the second time he ever tagged me, he broke my thumb.
Holy shit.
Just tagging me broke my thumb.
This dude's a wrecking ball.
No shit, man. So from then on, I turned my hand over backwards, you know, so he had to slap the top of my hand. My fingers would bend, you know.
And then he'd just go after the Rock and Roll Express.
Just kill him, man. And I'd be laughing my ass off.
That's cool. And you know, we shared a photo there a second ago of Ricky Morton. He's still doing it, man. How blown away are you seeing him still work today?
Oh, no doubt in my mind. I mean, hell, if I was able, I'd still be able to out there do it, you know. That's just the love of the business, you know. He's not out there doing things that he couldn't do 50, 20, 25, 30 years ago. But I guarantee he's still throwing a drop kick.
Still an incredible athlete. I think I saw him do like a Hurricane Rana at one point still. He's nothing short of incredible.
Insane.
Any good stories from when Jake, I'm sorry, this is from Charles Cousins. Any good stories from when Jake was in the original NWA Legion of Doom?
Well, that was ours, man. You know, we came up with that idea. I did. And Road Warriors. And of course, we had the Spoiler. He was part of our team. King Kong Bundy was never a part of our team. But we wreaked havoc in Georgia Championship Wrestling there for a short period of time, man. And anytime you were with the Road Warriors, there were stories. But most of them aren't primed for kids. So, you know, it got pretty ugly, man, pretty quick with the Road Warriors. At the time, they were supercharged, let's just say that, you know, and uncontrollable.
They seem like guys you'd want to have on your side at the bar, but maybe not guys you'd want to be at the bar with because they'd wind up getting you arrested.
Yeah, well, they'd also wind up turning on you, too. They just liked a good fight.
We were talking about you as a referee earlier. Yeah. Did anybody ever try to take, not even necessarily just as a ref, did anybody ever try to take any liberties with you in the ring? And if so, how'd you handle it?
You got to handle it with fire, man. And you got to call their bluff. And usually that's what it is a bluff. There was a fellow named Buzz Sawyer that used to be bad about that.
I remember Buzz.
Yeah, and he tried to do some of that crap with me, and I called his bluff, and he backed right down. But for a brief moment, I didn't know what the hell was going to happen.
So, from what I've heard, he was like this kind of world-class wrestler, mat wrestler, amateur wrestler.
Yeah, that's what he liked to put out there. It was all bullshit.
Oh, okay. So you gave him a receipt and he just backed down?
Yep. Yep. I gave him a couple of receipts.
You're not a small man, and certainly weren't back then. You're what,
No.
6'6", somewhere in there?
6'5" soft.
Man, it's
6'6" hard. I think we better end this show on that one.
All right. Well, let me grab one more, and then we'll call
All
it
right.
quits here. Justin Newcomer asks, "How does it feel knowing that what you did in the ring meant so much to so many people throughout the years?"
Well, here's the thing. I didn't know it. For so many years, I didn't have a clue, and didn't know that the fans felt the way they do about me. And not until I was in the accountability crib and all the people raised money for me to have a surgery. I couldn't believe it. It blew me away. I cried and cried over that because I didn't think anybody gave a shit about me. And then to hear all this love that was pouring out, man, it really freaked me out. And that was probably part of my recovery, man. That was a big thing to happen in my life. I know my daughter was there when it happened, and she was blown away too. And sometimes you're running so hard through life, you don't take time to smell the roses or anything else. You're just fighting for the next day, fighting till the next day, fighting till the next day, and you don't pay attention to what's going on around you. You don't realize that people care and that people support you and people love you. And that's on me, because I was just, I was a kid that was battered and bruised and abused, and I couldn't see how anybody would care about me. And it was enlightening for sure.
Man, it's incredible. I see the outpouring all the time online, and it's you. You were a huge part of people's childhoods, and people really still connect with that all these years later. So it's
It blows
remarkable
me
to
away,
see.
man. It blows me away.
Well, Jake, we'll be doing another one of these sometime
Yep.
soon. This was a lot of fun. On the next episode of the Snake Pit, we're looking back to 1985 and a pretty significant moment in your career. We're talking about you working with Muhammad Ali in Mid-South in Louisiana, I believe, in the Superdome is where it
Is that
took
the one
place.
where I knocked him out, or is this a different one?
This might be a different one.
Okay.
But he tried to knock you out, and it didn't quite work. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about Bill Watts.
I love that story. I didn't get knocked out.
How about that? Muhammad Ali gave you his best shot.
We'll be
talking about a guy I know you're not crazy about, Bill Watts.
No good son of a bitch, fucking asshole.
We'll get into that. We'll talk about Ali's history in pro wrestling, and of course, your personal interactions with the greatest of all time. Jake, somebody else who had a pretty close relationship with Ali was a friend of the show, Eric Bischoff, and Easy just had his second autobiography, Grateful, come out last month. It's been getting incredible reviews. It's a perfect stocking stuffer for your favorite wrestling fan. So go and get your copy of Grateful now on Amazon or at bischoffbook.com. If you have a question for Jake, you can ask it on Twitter at SnakePitPod. Make sure that you check out our YouTube channel at youtube.com/@SnakePitPod. There's no better way to introduce someone to the Snake Pit than by getting them over there to see some of these quick samples and clips of what our show is all about. And while you're there, like, subscribe, and hit the notifications bell so you don't miss any of the new content that we've got dropping there. Also, if you've enjoyed our podcast, please like, subscribe, and leave us a 5-star review on all platforms. That helps us out a ton. And,
Cameo.
Yes, sir. So Christmas is here, gang, and there's no better
cameos.
gift. Man, if you're last minute Christmas shopping, why don't you get somebody a gift that they will never forget from the pop culture icon himself, Mr. Jake Roberts. Head over to cameo.com/Jake Snake to order yours. And man, if you don't believe me, just check out some of the reviews over there. Watch what Jake has done. He puts a ton of effort into it, right, Jake?
Damn straight, man. I don't give you no 30 seconds, man. I'm gonna give you a couple of minutes, and it's gonna be serious and to the heart.
That's it, man. Just a reminder, you can get the Snake Pit and all the other shows in our network early and ad-free at adfreeshows.com, starting at just $9. It's less than 15 cents an episode each month. Plus, there's tons of bonus content, interactive chats with your favorite hosts and wrestling personalities. And there's much more. Head over to adfreeshows.com today to sign up. You can get Jake over on Twitter at JakeSnakeDDT, on Instagram at JakeTheSnakeDDT, and on Facebook at Real Jake the Snake. Check out his shop too if you want to do some Christmas shopping. We've got JakeTheSnakeShop.com. What does that say? The
tears of my enemies.
Well, it's you certainly made him back in the day. You were a popular wrestler and one of the top heels around.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Follow me at Marcus DeAngelo on Twitter. Follow the podcast at Snake Pit Pod on all social platforms. Jake, another one of the books. Thanks, brother.
Thank you, bro.
It's that time of year, boys and girls. Can you believe it? I know I can't. I know what you're thinking. This is going to be expensive. How am I going to pay for all this? Have you seen the economy lately? Can we put Christmas on pause? You can't. It's going to be here sooner rather than you think. And I'm here to help at SaveWithConrad.com. How's this for starters? No house payments for 2 months. You don't have to make a payment in December. You're done until January. And come January, you're going to have a happier new year. Because it'll be with no credit card debt. It'll be with lower monthly payments. We can knock out your car payment. We can get rid of your second mortgage. We can pay off all your credit cards. We can get you the cash you need to turn your house into your dream home and do it with no money out of pocket. Don't get stressed out about the holidays. Just go to SaveWithConrad.com right now. You don't need perfect credit. You don't need money out of your pocket. It just takes a few minutes to get started. NMLS number 65084, equal housing lender. Serious business. Get a lower monthly payment. Make this the best Christmas ever. Skip your next 2 house payments at SaveWithConrad.com.